matured along the years. We're always remained very good friends. But as of May last year, I had a traumatic loss that brought us closer than ever. That was the loss of my husband, Richard Williams, whom was also a childhood friend of Deb's. Deb was there not only as a friend, she guided me through the most difficult time in my life. So when she asked me if I could stand by her as her campaign manager, and of course see her through victory, I was elated. So when we picked the slogan for her campaign, speaking with honesty, thinking with sincerity, acting with integrity, this is exactly what Deb Detweiler will bring to the table. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to introduce to you the future coroner of Schuylkill County, Deb Detweiler.
You guys can sit down if you want to stay up. You might be here for a little while over here. You may want to sit down. Oh, hello everyone this evening. How are y'all doing? And thank you all for being here. It's an honor actually to be here. And Brenda did an awesome job. I know it was very difficult for her to have to stand up here to give that introduction, just being because of what's going on in her own life. So I thank you for that. You did a beautiful job. I just want to start off first by saying, how about a big round of applause for the campaign team? Yeah, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of them. As well as I wouldn't be here if it wasn't because of all of you. I can't thank you enough for the continued support that you're giving me so far in this election. So I'd like to take the time just to say this one phrase, which you're going to hear me say probably 100 times throughout this election. It's time to take the politics out of the coroner's office. I am not a politician. This room tonight is filled with Republicans and Democrats alike, all coming together for one common purpose. Your party doesn't matter. It's about putting the right person in to do the job. And I feel I am the best choice for Schuylkill County. So a couple days ago, when I was sitting down to write and prepare my speech, I was listening to the radio. And a Pat Benatar song came on. Hit Me With Your Best Shot. Y'all know that song. Everyone knows that song. So, but what she's saying is an awesome song. It was perfect timing because I realized what she's singing is about is how true courage comes from honesty. She's talking about how we need to face adversity, and if you don't stand up for what you believe in, you will fall for anything. Tonight, I stand before all of you to announce my candidacy for the 2019 election for Schuylkill County Coroner. Standing up for what I believe in. I've seen too much to stay silent, and I'm too passionate to give up so easily. In the years I've spent as a deputy coroner, I've been witness to the inefficiency and lack of humanity that currently exists in our coroner's office. This is why I have chosen to stand up and be the voice for you and your loved ones. This will take a few minutes to tell you all a little bit about myself. For those of you that don't know, I was born and raised in Schuylkill County. It's where I've chosen to raise my own family. I'm a mother of 5, and my fiance also has 2 children, totaling 7 in all. And they are all here with me this evening, and I'd like them to stand up. Now, I may be a little partial, but they are all awesome. They're all amazing, and I love them to death. So. Anyhow, I grew up in Schuylkill Haven and spent a lot of my time in Wayne Township on the family farm. I graduated from Schuylkill Haven High School in 1990. I was raised in a large family setting where morals, values, and strong work ethic were installed in us. I was raised when you start something, you always see it through. You never give up, and most importantly, your family comes first. And that's exactly what I intend to do, to continue to work hard for the people, not for the paycheck, not for the title, but I'm going to work for all of you, putting the families first. I guess the real question for some may be, am I qualified to be the county coroner? Well, I just want to start off by answering that question by saying, you do not need to be a doctor to be a coroner. Elected coroners are not required to be physicians or forensic pathologists. A coroner is an elected official who is mandated by law to investigate deaths independently and parallel to law enforcement. Out of the 67 counties in Pennsylvania, only 6% of coroners are doctors. I currently work in both Schuylkill and Berks County Coroner's offices as a deputy coroner. In this capacity, I've worked with many of you that are here tonight. And I hope that you have seen my passion in regards to this role. I am state certified as a death investigator, and I might add, I am currently the only deputy coroner in Schuylkill County that is state certified. I have handled well over 500 death investigations during my career thus far, and have the knowledge of the pertinent laws, statutes, and ordinances normally associated with the coroner's office. I currently sit on the Schuylkill County Drug and Alcohol Advisory Board and the Suicide Prevention Task Force. Having had the privilege to work as a deputy coroner in Berks County, and my Berks County family is here. If y'all could just stand up over there. I thank you all for being here this evening. But having the privilege to work as a deputy coroner in Berks County has allowed me to see where the deficiencies lie in Schuylkill County. Berks County is rated one of the top coroner's offices in the state, and I'd like to bring those ideas and solutions to our county to help eliminate the inadequacies. My experience and training over the years has given me a well-rounded approach in death investigation. I have over 20 years plus experience in emergency services, as CPR instructor, a nurse's aide in a hospital setting, a nursing home, and in hospice. LPN training, grief recovery specialist, ordained minister, along with numerous forensic trainings, just to name a few. For the past 19 years, I have served as a union steward for ASME Local 1512. And by being in this position, I have dealt with and handled many employee and management obstacles. Unfortunately, the coroner's office is one of the lesser seen offices in the county, but it is still funded by your tax dollars. And I believe that the taxpayers should be informed of how your time and your money is being spent. Furthermore, because of the lack of visibility towards the office, my opponent has had 8 years of being an absent administrator and has allowed this office to deteriorate, all the while reaping a financial gain from you, the taxpayer. My opponent will pat himself on the back with regards to his virtual autopsies. Although they are a great tool for the living, the reality behind these scans is they are only recommended as an alternative diagnostic tool when the traditional autopsy is no longer available or not possible. In 2015, my opponent publicly stated that he intends to publish a study based upon the information from these scans. As a taxpayer, you need to ask yourself the question, at what cost? Well, just in the last few years alone, my opponent has spent well over $125,000 for virtual scans that you, the taxpayer, has paid for, all for the benefit of my opponent to publish a study. Schuylkill County is not a research facility, and over 1,000 families did not willingly or knowingly take a part in this study. A virtual autopsy may be promising in reporting injuries such as traumatic death. However, at present, it cannot be considered as a replacement for the traditional autopsy. Therefore, here in Schuylkill County, your loved ones are being scanned, and then in addition, a traditional autopsy is being completed if needed. Not only is he benefiting monetarily from the virtual autopsies, he is also charging the county a monthly rental fee. and an additional $2,400 a year. All the while, he continues to be budget over budget year after year after year. Did you know just for 2018 alone, he was $16,000 over budget for the per diem deputy account, which is the account that pays the deputy coroners. Schuylkill County is falling behind. We have statistical data not being reported to appropriate agencies, which in turn affects the funding that is received from various other organizations throughout the county. The state grant funds are being underutilized. In the past 8 years, there has not been any disposition of any unclaimed assets. These assets come from people who passed away with no family. And the county code states that after a year, these belongings are to be liquidated, and the proceeds to go back to the general fund for the county. Previous coroners have given back as much as $80,000. My opponent, $0. Death certificates and cremation authorizations are not being issued in a timely manner. In fact, at the end of 2018, there were 130 pending death certificates in this county, ranging from the year of 2012 till present. That's 130 families and loved ones without closure. 130 families who potentially went without death benefit for their loved one because you cannot collect the benefit without a death certificate. We have loved ones being held for extensive lengths of time due to the incompetency of the administrators that are in charge. We have families waiting for death investigators, sometimes taking up 2 to 3 hours to arrive at a scene. We have loved ones not being properly cared for, and they are not being treated with the dignity and respect that they deserve. In a recent article printed in the Times News on February 9, 2019, regarding the opioid crisis, my opponent states, and I quote, "There are so many of these cases that we cannot autopsy them all," end quote. The real truth is the total number of overdoses in this county has gone down. And the real reason he cannot autopsy every one of these cases is that he struggles to keep a forensic pathologist on staff. Why, you ask? Over the past 8 years, he's created such an unhealthy working atmosphere that the closest forensic pathologists have declined to do our autopsies, subjecting us to traveling longer distances, incurring more expenses in order to have these completed. As the coroner of Schuylkill County, I plan to be a hands-on coroner. Unlike my absent administration, I'll be showing up for work every day, just like all of you. My top priority is to restore integrity back into the coroner's office and to be there for the families when they're at their most vulnerable time, providing the compassion, sympathy, and support that they need and so deserve. I will develop an educated and skilled staff that is necessary to perform their job and to better serve the community. I will create one cohesive team with law enforcement and funeral homes. By working together, there are solutions available that will provide the necessary support these agencies need. I will advocate for a centralized permanent location for the coroner's office, allowing for proper space that is needed to care for your loved one, and utilizing the taxpayers' money more effectively and efficiently. I believe that every remain entrusted into my care is precious. It's someone's child, parent, spouse, or sibling. Accordingly, we as a coroner's office must treat them with the utmost dignity and respect at all times, and act like you would if their family was standing right beside you. I'd just like to take this time to introduce you to a few people. So I'm going to step away here. These pictures, everyone's probably wondering what they are, but these are actually people. Every single one of these people. This is Alex. Where's John and Tammy? There you go. There you are. This is John and Tammy's daughter. Beautiful girl. This is Sierra Gradwell. Where's Peggy? There's Peggy. This is Brandon. Where's the Firestone family? There they are. This is James. Where's the Delbert family? There they are. And this is Rich Williams, the Williams family. These are all people, and they matter. These families that are here tonight have suffered the worst. They've suffered the loss of a loved one. And we can't bring them back. We can't change any of that for them. But we can at least be there to provide the support, the sympathy, and the comfort that they need at their most awful time in their life. So they're here tonight because they wanted to come to support me. And I couldn't thank them more than enough. What I'd like you to do is take the time to talk with each one of these families and hear what they've had to experience. Hear what they've had to go through just in order to even get a death certificate. And some of these families up here still do not have a death certificate. So I welcome you to speak with every single one of them tonight. And they can tell you firsthand what they've experienced with this coroner's office. In closing, or pretty much closing, I'm up here a few minutes now, I don't know how long, go ahead. The work we do is critical for the families of our community. We need experienced and caring professionals to assist families at their most difficult time. Speaking with honesty, thinking with sincerity, and acting with integrity. Because families matter. My wish is that no family would ever have to deal with the coroner's office. However, if the situation should ever arise, rest assured, under my leadership, a skilled and trained and compassionate deputy would arrive at your door. I look forward to serving the citizens of Schuylkill County in my highest capacity. In closing, I'd like to share this short story with all of you. One day a man was walking along the beach when he noticed a boy picking up and gently throwing things into the ocean. Approaching the boy, he asked, "Young man, what are you doing?" The boy replied, "Throwing starfish back into the ocean. The surf is up and the tide is going out. If I don't throw them back, they'll die." The man laughed to himself and said, "Don't you realize there are miles and miles of beaches and hundreds of starfish? You can't make a difference." After listening politely, the boy bent down and picked up another starfish and threw it into the surf. And smiling at the man, he said, "I made a difference to that one." Thank you for all coming this evening.